Oh boy, I got to try something today. The brand new unreleased fragrance from Frederic Malle, Uncut Gem. Now, it's not for sale yet. The sales associate told me October, but that they might just happen to get it in a little early at the boutique. But she did have a little unmarked spray vial that I could try. Unfortunately, no samples yet either to take home, but I've been wearing it on my wrist and I've got it here on this nice carded sample with the little envelope here. From memory, the first thing I said actually was leather. I thought I got sort of the new style of kind of clean synthetic leather up top. I had forgotten what the notes were, and I thought it'd be interesting to write down my first impressions before looking at the notes again. Other things that kept coming to mind were a certain sweetness, which surprised me because I was expecting kind of a very dry, woody, masculine thing. But sure enough, when I looked up the notes, I realized it's considered an amber as well. So yeah, I definitely get a bit of sweetness that really rounds things off. There's also quite a strong, sort of very modern chemical smell, but not in a bad way. And it kept reminding me of something. And I think it's some weirder fragrances I've tried. One that came to mind was by Rado's M. Mink. Another one is Comme des Garçons Odeur 53. And then later it struck me, although I've only tried it once, something else that could be compared to it is Ganymede. So very modern, almost has that nose tingling effect that some modern kind of woody ambers can have. Now I realize a lot of the descriptors I came up with are actually going to sound bad. People are going to say, oh, it's Frederic Malle jumping on the woody ambers train or the Ganymede train. But one thing I appreciate a lot about the brand is when they do a genre, they put their own spin on it. So with Synthetic Jungle, it was green, but a green unlike any other green we've had. Cologne Indelible, also, it's a cologne, a neroli fragrance, but the musks smell unlike any other neroli. So I'm not mad at them for trying out this style and putting the Frederic Malle spin on it. I know cynics will say, this is the end of Frederic Malle, it's so synthetic, it's so modern, it's just commercial junk, but I think it's actually quite a daring perfume, and the last few releases, Synthetic Jungle, Rosé Queer, are really challenging, daring scents, and I don't think they're commercially driven at all. So what did I write? Quite a sharp, peppery, bordering metallic, but not too metallic. I think more the sense of metal is almost at how kind of, I imagine like a round, clean, shiny surface almost, rather than that kind of metallic that bites and gets in your teeth kind of smell. I was trying to think of the sweetness, and I thought of MFK, his use of musks, his use of sweetness in something like Grand Soir, but way dialed down compared to Kirkton. Grand Soir I find a bit cloying, but I get a little bit of that round, warm sweetness. But here it's not too much, and it's really nicely balanced. Overall, it kind of creates overall smell unlike anything I've ever smelled. It's actually hard to pick out individual notes. It's kind of one singular smell. At times I got almost an aquatic-like freshness. But yeah, there's a note that really I've smelled before. Now they say it has an overdose of ambresinide, not sure if I'm saying that right, which is maybe the ingredient that I recognize from other perfumes, but it doesn't smell like ambroxan. There's nothing that smells kind of mundane or typical designer aroma chemical to me. So it's very interesting. I have a feeling it'll wear really beautifully on skin. I got, a nice little spray on wrist, which has been lasting okay. It's not a powerhouse. It felt pretty strong at first, and I can still smell it. It's been, half a day, 6 hours, but it's not overly cloying, chemical, synthetic kind of mess that these notes might imply. So yeah, fresh, woody, ambery, sweet, metallic, mineralic, slightly aquatic, not cologne aquatic, but just something giving it freshness there. The leather went away pretty quickly, even though that was my first guess. And I was impressed with myself because the first word out of my mouth was, leather. And again, I looked up the notes, and it is listed among the notes. So it's a really interesting fragrance. I can't wait to wear it more, to really wear it on my chest, let it wear with my heat in my body and see how it develops. I did that first so that I wouldn't smell too many things and have it covered up, but I went on a bit of a smelling spree. So I tried the new Kirkgen release, 754. It's nice. It's very much him. It definitely is within the genre of the aquatic series, or like aqua series, sorry. So Aqua Celestia, Aqua Universalis. It's a more floral take, which I actually like because it makes it a little less boring than some of the others, because there's prominent fresh florals, but also verges on kind of, shampoo, laundry, detergent, fresh. But out of all the things I sprayed, this by far is the strongest still. Doesn't smell too strong going on, but those musks that Francis uses are just eternal. They tend to outlive everything else around them. While I was there, I tried Rose Tonnerre just to see how it compared to Une Rose. Again, the sky is falling critics are going to say it's been butchered. It is different, especially up top. It smelled quite a bit more fresh, quite a bit more simple, like it's been streamlined. I don't have matte cap Une Rose, but I have a very old sample when they used to give away the 3.5 mils. Compared to that, this is like an eau de cologne flanker, I'm sorry to say. Mostly what's missing is that heavy, thick wine dredges. Some might prefer this though. I actually always found Une Rose a bit heavy. I never purchased it because it felt like a slog to wear, although I found it really interesting. But also interestingly, the dry down, smelling again, reminds me a lot of the original Une Rose. So some of the details have been changed, but I wouldn't consider it gutted. If you loved, especially the matte cap Une Rose, which I think is even more powerful than what I had, you might be disappointed by this. But I don't mind it, it's nice. I almost like it better, and so did the sales assistant, but of course they're going to say that. Tried a couple others that I don't have here, but I hadn't tried before, which is Sal Gosse. And I actually like it. It's a nice neroli with a sweet twist. It reminds me a lot of Cologne Indelible, almost like they just had this vat of the neroli accord that Dominic Ropion developed, and they just dressed it up with some other notes. But I found it nice. I say that because Danton Lit, which is a room spray, also smells like, sorry, not a room spray, linen spray, smells like the same Cologne Indelible neroli. I also tried, don't have a card here, but on my other wrist, the new Hermes Violette Volynka, and it's a bit disappointing. It basically does what it says. It's violet and a little bit of a smooth leather. I don't get that much leather. The violet definitely has that kind of powdered tart candy aspect that a lot of violets can have. I've also noticed kind of this like nuttiness, creamy nuttiness that I get in violet, and I'm also realizing that a lot of violet accords, or actually iris accords, that I don't like, it's really actually a violet pretending to be an iris that I don't like. So I don't love it. It dries down to a nice smooth kind of round smelling thing. I feel like Nagel is really good with this very comforting texture to her perfumes in the dry down. They always feel very warm and fuzzy and cozy, but I really didn't get much more than exactly what it says, violet with a little bit of leather, and the leather didn't seem to last very long or seem very strong. So those are the new releases I smelled. Can't wait to get a sample and wear this some more. But yeah, to me, it's a good one. It's definitely synthetic. It's definitely modern. But I think it's a really interesting take.